Harris Faulkner is now apologizing to Newt Gingrich, former Speaker of the House, for cutting him off on her show the other day on Fox when he was speaking about George Soros and how he has, with others, financed revolutionaries and leftist ideologues into positions of power. He has financed their campaigns. They are now DAs and mayors and ADAs, assistant district attorneys. They are people that are in positions to release criminals, which is exactly what the revolution right now is all about. So first, let's just jump over to the video in case you haven't seen it. This is Newt Gingrich being cut off by Harris Faulkner and President Obama's former campaign or spokesman, his little press conference speaker. What do you call that? It's Kayleigh McEnany's position today. So what Kayleigh is to Trump, this gal, the blonde with the specs, was for Obama. Take a look.
Destroyed by this violence.
Yeah,
Not her.
so true. They represent everybody,
Harris.
right? Speaker Gingrich, I know you have a final thought for us.
Yeah, look, the number one problem in almost all these cities is George Soros elected left-wing, anti-police, pro-criminal district attorneys who refuse to keep people locked up. Just yesterday, they put somebody back on the street who's wanted for 2 different murders in New York City. You cannot solve this problem, and both Harris and Biden have talked very proudly about what they call progressive district attorneys. Progressive district attorneys are anti-police, pro-criminal, and overwhelmingly elected with George Soros' money, and they're a major cause of the violence we're seeing because they keep putting the violent criminals back on the street.
Okay, now that's a fact. Now we can go over here and show you. This is from, what is this? Let me scroll a little, 2018. Show you the one from 2016 from Politico. This says progressives have zeroed in on electing prosecutors as an avenue for criminal justice reform. And the billionaire financier is providing cash to make it happen. That's right, George Soros' quiet overhaul of the U.S. justice system. This is from Politico. This is 2016. They were saying it out in the open as if it wasn't that big a deal because they kind of half expected it to be Hillary's fault. So Hillary would be the one to deal with that issue, and you know how she'd deal with it. She'd kneel with the Kunta Kinte cloth. So then you have this one. This is from the LA Times from 2018. This is more specific. Here's why George Soros and liberal groups are spending big to help decide who's your next DA. Shouldn't it say who your next DA is? Anyways, they're going to help decide who your next DA is. I don't like that. Well, I don't like ending the sentence with the preposition either. But I really don't like George Soros getting to decide who anyone's DA is. This says, in most district attorney elections, the campaign playbook is clear. Win over the local cops and talk tough on crime. If you want to be the DA, you got to win over the cops. In California, the strategy is being turned on its head, or turned on its ear. Wealthy donors are spending millions of dollars to back would-be prosecutors who would reduce incarceration, crack down on police misconduct, and revamp a bail system, so redo bail, release bail, have there be no bail. The effort is part of a years-long campaign by liberal groups to reshape the nation's criminal justice system. In New York billionaire, he's not New York billionaire George Soros, you fucks, he's Hungarian, having sold Jews to the Nazis billionaire George Soros, terror financier George Soros, international criminal George Soros, headlines a consortium of private funders. The American Civil Liberties Union and other doublespeak groups, and Democratic activists targeting 4 of the 56 DA positions up for election on June 5th. Well, of the 56 DA positions on June 5th in 2018, how many more have come up since? How many are up for this year? I have no idea. How much you want to bet that he's going after every single one? Why do you think that Harris Faulkner is now apologizing for cutting off Newt? Because, well, let's just watch the rest of the video now. Now that you have the context of knowing what he just said is true. verifiably, undeniably, from the left's media, true.
I'm not sure we need to bring George
get the
Soros
last-
into this.
Oh, why not? Why not?
I was going to say you get the last word, Speaker.
He paid for it. I mean, why can't we discuss the fact that millions
No,
of
he
dollars
didn't.
he spent
I agree with Melissa.
electing these
George
people?
Soros doesn't need to be a part of this conversation.
Her. Spokeswoman for Barack Obama. Now she's, George Soros, let's protect him. He doesn't need to be part of this conversation. Let's not air him out.
Okay.
It's what? Harris, screw
So it's verboten.
All right, we're going to...
So it's verboten. You're correct. You're not allowed to talk about it. That is forbidden. You're not allowed to speak on that. This is where we are now. Thank you, Harris Faulkner. You fucked up. So, yes, you did. And now here you are apologizing. Let's take a look.
So we had a little incident on the show yesterday that was not smooth. And while I was leading that segment, we had interruptions, and I sat silently while all of that played out. Also, not ideal.
No, you should have
Our
defended
guest,
your guy.
former House Speaker Newt Gingrich, who is beloved and needed to be allowed to speak with the openness and respect that the show is all about, was interrupted. Do we debate with fire here? Yes.
Yeah.
But we must also give each other the space to express ourselves. As the only...
Okay, frankly, not to cut her off, I'll let her finish in a second, but, they did let him speak. The other two, but by Harris Faulkner saying nothing, the other two got to jump in and show their true colors of saying, no, don't let you say those things, don't say those names, don't say those words, don't say them in that order, don't tell people those facts, don't let them look up those things, because all I had to do was Google, George Soros got these people elected. Google gave me those things. So it's that clear and obvious to people. And now Harris is just saying, well, I'm sorry I didn't tell them to be quieter. I should have protected Newt. I think, in retrospect, how it worked out. It's just that Faulkner now looks weak, because she is. She didn't want to look weak. So she's regrettably now saying, well, I wish I had looked stronger.
The original member of the 6-year-old amazing daytime ride known as Outnumbered, I especially want to rock and roll with every voice and perspective at the table. We don't censor on this show, and that's why we're winning weekdays at noon.
Weekdays at noon. Guys, I've never seen Harris at noon. Gotta tell you. So, anyways, she's apologized. Okay, so now we'll read a little bit. This says, take an opportunity, like the video, and leave a little comment. Grab the link to the video so that you can share it. Go to your old MySpace account. Go to your new Facebook. Go to your aunt's Facebook account. Post this. Send this as a DM to someone on Twitter that you don't know. Be fun. Fox News hosts. Let's read. Harris Faulkner apologized on Thursday to Newt Gingrich for an on-air incident the day prior in which multiple hosts interrupted the former House Speaker as he repeatedly attempted to peddle a far-right trope about philanthropist George. What the word salad is this? Why don't you just simple it up a little bit here? Newt Gingrich offered information regarding George Soros' funding of revolutionary, reactionary DAs, radical DAs in the U.S., in major cities. And he's funded their campaigns. He's funded their elections. Saying it's not ideal, she did, after interrupting him, saying it's not ideal that Gingrich was beloved. Hang on, this is such a crap word salad from them. He attempted a right-wing trope about philanthropist George Soros, saying it's, quote, not ideal that he is, quote, beloved and needed to be allowed to speak. That's not what she said. She didn't say it's not ideal and that Gingrich is beloved. Correct, yes. To recap, Gingrich, a Fox News contributor, claimed on Wednesday that the main cause of violence at protests is the fact that all of the people committing violence get released the next day because the DAs don't hold them, and that is George Soros. Correct. He says, quote, George Soros elected left-wing, anti-police, pro-criminal DAs who refuse to keep people locked up. The people that we see coming out, 80, 90, 100. Hang on. Why does it say my stuff's going to restart? No, do not restart. Remind me tomorrow. Unreal that a computer would just decide it wants to restart itself. Unbelievable. Anyways, you get the point yet? Do I even need to continue to read this? Quote, "This is the power of George Soros," tweeted Glenn Beck, the far-right TV star who, during his Fox News tenure, often ranted about Soros accompanied by a chalkboard with frenzied lines connecting various political entities to the philanthropist. Well, wait, why is he New York financier George Soros? Now he's a Hungarian philanthropist? Can we get an accurate look at his background? I think it maybe is deserving of an entirely separate video just on George Soros' background. I wonder if you can find that. Check that out. Leave a link in the comments if you could. Like the video, share this video, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, make sure that a little notification bell is on. That always helps you see when I upload something, but typically try to do one a day at least. Do everything else you can do to keep America afloat.